Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today I got out the rest of my Halloween decor boxes and I have everything pulled out ready to decorate my coffee bar station. Behind me you can see that I already have decorated my kitchen shelves. If you missed that video, I'll put a link for it down in the description box below. I'm also going to share with you a few new vintage items that I have pulled out for my coffee bar station, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. I also have a simmer pot recipe that I've been wanting to try one of these simmer pots for a while now. If you don't know what a simmer pot is, it's just a fun way to scent your home. And I wanted to get this going so that as I'm decorating, it smells very much like fall in here. So I'm going to start with that, as well as sharing with you a couple of my new vintage finds. So let's go ahead and get started. So I was gifted this candle warmer for Christmas last year. I haven't used it much as an actual candle warmer, but essentially what you can do is, if you're not familiar with these, you can put a candle down here and it melts the wax. This is like a heat lamp under there that heats up and makes the candle smell. I picked up this little metal cauldron at an estate sale and it fits perfectly under this candle warmer. So I looked up a recipe for a simmer pot online, and I'll link it for you down below as well, but I'm just going to add a few slices of this apple. I have some apple here. I have some bay leaves. I don't think I'm going to use all the bay leaves. Let's just put a couple cinnamon sticks. A few sprigs of rosemary. Let's see if they'll fit. A couple of star anise. And a few slices of orange. And lastly, I'm just going to top it off with some hot water from my tea kettle. So before we start decorating, I wanted to share with you a few of the thrifting estate sale finds that I picked up this year. First, I picked up this super cute jack-o'-lantern candle. It looks very vintage to me. I love picking up vintage candles when I can find them, especially if they're in a jack-o'-lantern motif, or I really would love to grow my girly candle collection. This one I actually picked up at midsummer last year, but whenever I can find these vintage style candles, I love to pick them up. Also, I'm always on the hunt for new mugs. This has been my absolute favorite find of Halloween mugs this year. I absolutely love the jack-o'-lanterns, the polka dots. This one is by Gateswear, designed in California, and I love the ghost and the jack-o'-lanterns. I've actually been using this outside of Halloween season because I just love it that much. I also love all this little bats that he's holding up down here. Another vintage mug that I picked up this year is this really sweet jack-o'-lantern mug. I love the size of it. It's a great size for coffee in the morning, and I love the vintage motif on him. Some of my favorite things to do every season is change out the picture behind my stove and my oven here. I have this haunted house picture that I picked up at my local antique store, Magnolia and Willow, and I absolutely love it. I think it looks great behind my stove. And then I also have this little shelf that I like to put on my stove so that I can put little things in front of it. I also always have my little garlic bowl up here with my garlic, so I'll just leave that there. And let's start putting a few things on there. I have this really beautiful Victorian home wall pocket that, again, I picked up at Magnolia and Willow. I'm just going to, I think I want to put it here, and I want to give it some plants. So I'm just going to put some plants inside of it. Pretty. So I have some pothos here. There we go. And I think this is calathea. So I have a collection of amber bottles that I have been collecting at estate sales and markets. Whenever I can find them, I just pick them up. These are really cool old Lysol bottles, and I'm not sure what this little one is, but I think they're really cool. So I'm going to add a few here. And I also have a thrifted taper candle that I'll burn it down so it's not as tall, but I just like to pick these up whenever I find them at estate sales or thrift stores. I just have this little black cat that I like to decorate with for Halloween. I think he'll look cute there. So here's my coffee bar station, undecorated. I just put the towels down for my foundation, and then my husband helped me hang this corn maze sign that I also picked up at an antique store. This one, I just love the imagery, and I also had him help me put up the garland there on top. Just with his height, he helped me do that, and then we're going to get started on the shelf. All right, I brought all of my mugs over to start filling in all of the blanks. I like to fill in all of my mugs first and then go back with small decorations later. When I'm out thrifting, I really like to find, I don't know, I'm just drawn to a lot of small items, and I really like decorating my coffee bar with a lot of items. I like a very full look in my coffee bar. I would say it's very maximalist. Do you decorate in a very maximalist style, or are you more of a minimalist? I like seeing all of my little treasures and goodies on display. It just really makes me happy. So I'm just going to start again. I like to kind of vary. Let's see what I want to do. I like to vary the colors, and this is another one of my favorite mugs. It's an owl. It kind of is 3D, pops out. This is an otajiri hand-painted mug. One of my favorite finds, along with this otajiri Victorian home mug that reminds me of a haunted house. I love this one. Let's see here. And then I also have this stained glass pumpkin mug that I picked up at Goodwill one year. And now that all of my mugs are placed, I can start filling in all of my small goodies. I did already bring over my jack-o'-lantern candle. I think I want to put that with my favorite mug over here. This is the one that I'll be drinking from most often this season, I believe. And then I think because this mug is so white right here, I want to put in a little pop of orange with these creamers. And I really like to stack these creamers. This guy. I really like to stack those together. All right, so I'm going to I like to add this seed pod into this mug here. I think these are a little bit spooky. And I also want to use this little crow. My parents picked this up for me at an antique store. I forget where they went, but they went on a trip and they picked up that cute crow for me. And I'm also going to use this little, I always forget what these are called, but I'm thinking it's a salt. You would keep salt in there, and there's a tiny little spoon. But this was an estate sale find, and in here I'm going to display some of my vintage cupcake picks. I really love these. These are so much fun. I try and show all of them, but it's hard. The cat is one of my favorites. So I like that so far. Next to my owl mug, let's see, I want to put, this is one of my favorite candles. I love the face. I think it is absolutely the coolest, like spooky. He's scared. This is the Holly Hatch collection, or Kathy Hatch, 2002. Really cool candle. And on top of that, I'm going to place this spooky jack-o'-lantern candle holder. I love to stack things. And I'm also going to put this rose gold spooky pumpkin spoon inside of my owl mug there. Next to my jack-o'-lantern mug, I'm going to add this vintage candle as well as this pumpkin salt or pepper shaker. I only found one at the estate sale, and it's missing its plug. This is a made in Japan piece, but I loved it still. And again, I'm going to stack those two together. I love this patchwork pumpkin. It's made of all different color fabrics, and it has these beads and wire sprig coming out the top. I want to fit it in my mug, but I think I'm going to set a little bowl here. Let's see. That'll fit in there. Yes, perfect. Actually, I think I'm going to change this up a little bit and move these pumpkins over here because I'm going to be reaching for this mug a lot as well. It's one of my favorites, and this one I think will be more decorative with the patchwork pumpkin inside, and so I'm going to put a few more decorative pieces on this side. I found this game of old maid playing cards at an estate sale. I love the black and orange colors of it, as well as this portrait of a lady there. And I'm going to showcase my girly candle as well as this little ceramic pumpkin. I'm going to put him back a little bit. There. That looks so cute. Here's how we're looking so far. Every year, my husband and I like to pick up a new Folkmanis puppet, and we picked this little bat up last year. I love how realistic they look, and they're just so well made. Here's the tag. This one we picked up at Barnes & Noble, but I believe they also have them on Amazon. If you're interested, I will see if I can find it and link it maybe from Amazon. But I thought he would look so cute on top of my haunted house mug. I would imagine a house like this might have bats in the attic. So we'll put him on top of that one. So I could leave my coffee bar just like this, but I love incorporating different fall foliage into the background of my pieces. I just take off little sprigs of fall foliage from garland or a fall pick, and I stick it in behind my shelf. So if I do take a mug off my shelf, the leaves still stay there. and then I can just have a little pop of color coming through. I also have just plain leaves that I like to place underneath different pieces, like this jack-o'-lantern here. And I just think it helps make them pop a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and add a few more pieces throughout my coffee bar here. At the same estate sale that I found these vintage towels, I also found this little box, and inside they had napkins, these really beautiful vintage motif jack-o'-lantern and cat paper napkins that are just nestled inside there. So I'm going to put this on top of my coffee bar, and let's add a this piece is new in my collection this year. This piece was passed down to me by my grandmother. I actually carried it as my carry-on coming back home to California from Virginia. I believe this is meant to be either a candy dish or a vintage popcorn holder, but I thought it would be perfect on my coffee bar to hold our K-cups. I also found a couple of these jack-o'-lantern ornaments that I think I'm just going to place inside his mouth as well. Just like a little pop. I'm also going to add this clear jar just on top of my napkins here. This is going to collect any used K-cups. And on this other side, I really want to use this ghosty guy. I think he's really adorable, especially with his little bow tie and his little felt jack-o'-lantern. And I also picked up this small wicker pumpkin basket that I think is going to be perfect for my husband's sugar packets.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I styled my Halloween coffee bar. I hope it gave you some cozy inspiration for your own space. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the Halloween fun coming up. Let me know in the comments which was your favorite thrifted piece and if you'll be decorating your own coffee bar this fall. See you in the next one. Bye!